Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. If you see the one video before this, welcome back. So today I thought I'd do a story time. Now, because most of the ones I've seen are like a psycho college friend or a psycho stepmom, things like that. Now I don't have any of that. So I thought I would do my time in high school. I'm not going to mention real names or what school it was, anything like that, so I will just change it all. But I wasn't a bad student. Well, I was. I mean, I wasn't a nasty student. I just didn't really like being told what to do, I guess. So yeah, I'll start with like year 7. I wrote some notes so I don't forget it all, which I probably have missed out loads because a lot happened. So start with like, it was a school nearby. Now I didn't actually want to go to this school. I wanted to go, like, I'm in the middle of 2 towns, and I wanted to go to this school in the town next to me. But my sister was already at this other school, so I had to go to the same school as she. So my mum didn't have to make loads of trips around. So I went to that school, but I mean, all my friends came up to that school with me from my previous school anyway. So it wasn't too bad. And there was people I knew. You know, one of my friends, I'll tell you her real name. Her name's Casey. She's my best friend. I've known her for 17, 18 years now, something like that. It's been a long time. So she came up with me. So you know, I knew her anyway, and then a few of my other friends. So when I was in year 7, my sister was in year 9. I started school with like little heels and tight trousers and makeup, and I was chubby. I'll probably try and get a picture in. I was little round and little bob. I mean, my hair is generally really long, but I had it cut into a bob just before I started senior school. And I went to see my sister, and there was this boy in her class. He was really nasty, and he like, I put my head round and I was like, "Oh, Nicole," she's my sister, that's her real name. She was walking over, and he came over and he slammed the door. He slammed the door on me. I mean, I was standing just where the door shut, and so it hit my hand, and this bone here popped out and then popped back in. So let me just let my cat out. And so I just stopped breathing, and then eventually along came the cry because it hurt. And my sister my sister's like a really good girl. Like, she never got in trouble. She never really had a detention. You know, I was always told like, "Why can't you be like your sister?" and so on. But she was like so angry that she threw this guy into a filing cabinet, which dented it, and come to see if I was okay. So I got sent to medical, and then ended up in hospital, and it turned out it was broken, and I had to wear like a cast for 6 months, like a half cast for 6 months, so it was soft to this side but hard to this side. And then when that came off, for like 6 weeks, and then when that came off, I had a splint, and I had a little splint. That was awful, like really honest, like, it smells, like, because you had to have it on all the time. I think you had to take it off to like shower and stuff, but because it's on all the time, and it's like a foam, and it generally smells like smelly feet or something. It was horrendous. You know, I would move or I'd do my hair and I could smell it, and horrendous. Only one of the few bones that I have broken. I didn't realise. My dad couldn't make it. I think he was stuck at work or something. My mum was having a meeting with my deputy head, who no one really liked anyway. He was like, thought he was this big hard man, and he pushed me outside, and I had to sit outside the the office, at which point I didn't realise he was actually really rude, like really rude to my mum. So yeah, so there was this massive thing, and they were talking about like maybe getting the guy done for assault and stuff, but then my dad said, like, at the end of the day, he's a 14-year-old boy, you know, that can ruin his life, you know, we get him a criminal record and stuff. So they thought that'd be nice, and they thought, no, you know, we will just you know, let the school deal with it. They gave him one day of isolation. Okay, one. and you'll find out later in this video what I got two days of isolation for. He got 1 for physically breaking my bones. So we left it as that anyway. So we left the school to deal with it, and then about 3 weeks later he tried to break someone else in my year's ribs, and then brought a knife in and got expelled. So, lovely lad. So that was in year 7 anyway, you know, and when I say I was naughty, you know, I had 38 detentions in like the first term of year 7, but none of them were from like being really naughty. It was more like I was talking in class, or I didn't do my homework and things like that, you know. I wasn't like bunking off or doing really naughty things. I just did the opposite to what the teacher told me to do. And year 8 came, and my attendance got really, really low because I had like, I think I still do, like, have like overactive kidneys. It's nothing major. I'm not on like tablets or anything for it, but I basically have to drink loads of water. You know, like in the morning when you have your morning wee and it's like really strong. That's basically what I was like all the time. So I had to drink loads of water to keep myself like flushed through, and I didn't, because this is like, you know, the first time I really knew what was going on. So I constantly got cystitis, which was like really painful. So I kept like crying and saying I wanted to go home and stuff. And I remember being in the medical room, and they pulled me out, and it's really nice. She was like the medical staff, and she was well known. She was really, really kind. And she pulled me out and asked if I was being bullied or something, like, because I keep going home and my attendance is low. And I didn't want to say anything, because at that sort of age it's really embarrassing, and I didn't want to say anything, and I was like, I didn't want to go home. In the end, I admitted it. I said, I've got cystitis, and they was like, oh, okay, no worries. And you know, and then I went to the doctors and stuff. In the end, I had to go through like the older I got, I had to go through like scans and all this crazy stuff for like crystals and stuff in my bladder. But we'll get to that on another video. Along with my other general injuries of I sprained quite badly both my ankles, one after the other. The first one was playing basketball, and I was running, and you know, like sometimes you tread funny or anything like that, and you sort of slide off your foot, so your ankle's like turned. I done that when I was playing basketball, because I played a lot of sport then. I haven't hurt myself since I haven't played sport. I was on crutches, and I hated crutches. But then straight after that, we were in like the gym room, like, and I was on a running machine. So it'd be really funny to set the running machine up like really high, and I fell off and bent like that on my ankle, and then shooting off the back of the running machine. And that one was really bad. I was on crutches for quite a while with that one. It was all like swollen, and I couldn't really feel my toes or anything like that. But luckily it wasn't broken. But that was just one of the injuries I had in school. I had this maths teacher who wasn't he didn't really tell anyone off, and the class was always really bad behaved and everything like that. But it used to be like my main ambition to get sent out the class and then play Cowboys and Indians up the corridor. This was year 8, obviously. I grew up and I came out of school, which annoyed the teachers even more because they hated me. But I came out of school with good grades. But yeah, so that sums it up for year 8, and then year 9, I think it was year 9, or might have been year 10, I'm not sure. I think it was like 2011, and I left school in 2013, which sounds like year 9, but I'm pretty sure it was year 10. So I'll just say year 9, 10. I was doing a drama show, actually. I did take drama. I didn't get a very good grade in that because I was too shy. So, you know, I was very awkward in front of like audiences and when people are watching you, and I was just like, my shoulders were always up like this. Like I always was like hunched over. Drama. And so I was doing a show. I was only like one of the extra people. And it was We Will Rock You, I think it was, but for like school, like a school version. And it was fun, but we were doing it. We like performed it to the parents. And my mum, my dad, actually, they were due to come on the first performance on the 14th of March. And my mum, my sister, and someone else, I can't remember who it was, maybe a friend or something, came on the first day, and my mum didn't. Now I'm pretty gullible, right? My granddad was not very well. I'll show you a picture. This is on my wall. This is my granddad. This was my grandma. She got ill when my mum was 15. She was about 40, I think, and she ended up being disabled from the neck down. But if you want to hear about that, let me know, and what you want me to do or anything extra you want to know in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you. But yeah, so this was my granddad, and he was literally like everything to me anyway. And anyway, so he wasn't very well. She'd already passed away, and he wasn't very well. And I walked in, and my dad said, "Oh, your mum's at the hospital with your granddad." I was like, "Oh, okay, no worries, yeah, cool." Carried on, thinking nothing of it. Got home, and my mum was like, her eyes were all red and swollen, and I was like, so I know that, you know, he'd come to the end. And it was really awkward because, like, my mum and my sister like instantly started crying again, and I was so close to him, and I literally stood there just hugging him, and I was like, why am I crying? I was like, and I was literally like, my dad was looking at me, and I had like this nervous smile, and I was just like smiling, and I was like, why am I not crying? Then I got upstairs, and I hit the floor, like completely crying my eyes out. It completely ruined me. I actually have a tattoo now that's got his ashes in. But yeah, so anyway, so that happened, and then soon after that I fell out with my friends. Now I never really got bullied, because, you know, the way I was in school, which I'm not like anymore, but the way I was, like, if you started on me, I'd just like hit you. I'd like go mental. I'd be like, oh, you want to fight then? Like, you know, I was really leery. But my friends were different. Like, I would never ever hurt one of my friends or anyone I've been close to, even if I'm not friends with them anymore. I couldn't go and hit them or anything like that. And I fell out with them, and I was on my own quite a lot. And after, I was quite porky at this point, and you know, and after losing my granddad, and then I guess I just got really low. I can't remember too much. I mean, it was a really hard time in my life, and I ended up developing eating disorders and bulimia. I think I lost about 2.5 stone in 1 month, and I literally didn't eat. I just drank energy drinks. So I used to be on like 25 a day, and I would literally like come home and go for a run with an energy drink in my hand. Like, I just didn't eat, and you know, and that's what got me through, I guess. Caused me lots of problems. I'm on lots of medication now. You know, I can tell you all about that in maybe 30 facts about me, which I was thinking about doing anyway. So if you do want to see that, put it in the comments below for me, and I'll see if I can do that for you. But yeah, so it was a hard time, and that pretty much summed up my year 10, 11, 9, 10 or whatever. I tried to move school. And everything, like I tried to move into the school that I wanted to go to at the beginning, even though all my friends were here in this school. I wanted to go to that other school, but I applied for it, and they said no. So they said no, sorry, we don't have any room. So I was you know, so I had to stick it out. But I changed forms and stuff, and my friends apologised, and you know, that's the only argument we've ever had, even to this day. You know, I've been out of school, so I don't know. 6 years. I've been out of school 6 years, you know, and we've still never ever fallen out since. So you know, yeah. So that pretty much sums up that. And then when I got to year 11, they asked me to leave. Now I remember a few things, but throughout my school, but I can't remember what year they were in. So I'm just going to tell you these things happened somewhere between like year 8 probably and year 11. I stood up to my teachers a lot more. I didn't just take it. If I hadn't done anything wrong, I would stand up in the middle of the class and be like, why are you shouting at me, you know? So I know, so the thing I said at the beginning, this is what I can't remember what year it was. I think this was actually year 8. I can't remember. So I've got like 7, I'm missing loads of earrings, but I've got like 7 piercings in this ear now. Runs from at the top and down. Now I only had 1 at the bottom, and this very top one I got done. And I obviously you was only allowed an earring at the bottom, so I got pulled out of my English class by this area called like pastoral. It was new, like where you had to go and when you're naughty. And she was like, I'll take the earring out. She had like a massive go at me, and she was like, that's not the rules, you're not allowed to take that out. I was like, but I've only just had it done, like, I can't take it out, it might close up. And then she called this other teacher. He was he literally shouted in my face, like he had veins coming out of his neck, he was bright red, he was spitting over an earring. I was like, I took it out in front of him. I was like, you know, that's not fair. You can't treat me like that for an earring, you know. You take it out, send me home, whatever. Don't scream and shout at me like that's acceptable. Like, he was here, like spitting in my face from shouting. So obviously I like got upset and I started hyperventilating and I couldn't breathe, and I rang my dad and I said, like, Dad, this has happened, I've taken it out, and he calmed me down and I went back to class. And then, unknowing to me, my dad rang the original teacher and said, like, it was a heated discussion. It wasn't shouting or arguing. My dad was very good at, like, staying calm, but inside he's, like, angry. So he seemed calm on the outside, but the things he came out with completely just, like, shut them down. And I think that's probably what they hated the most. But he rang them up and he was like, you know, that's not acceptable or whatever. She come back into my English class. Like, I had taken the earring out. She came back into my English class, pulled me out of my English and put me in isolation, which is like a little cubicle where you just have to face the wall and do some work or whatever, so you're not actually in class, and put me in isolation after talking to my dad. So it's like basically my dad, so I got isolation because he spoke to her on the phone. Like, so, you know, so that's how crazy it was. And for that I got 2 days of isolation. So a year ago, like, this guy broke my wrist and I had so many problems, and he got 1 day, and I wore an earring that I took out when asked and I got 2 days. But yeah, and then this same teacher, actually, one day, I can't remember what year it was, but one day I came in and I know, like, you know, your shirts are quite see-through, and I was wearing like a bright pink bra. And I know I probably should have worn a white one, but I was young and I didn't know that, you know. I would always colour coordinate my outfits now so you don't see underwear, but back then I didn't know. I was wearing a pink bra and she pulled me into Pastoral and she goes, "You got to take your bra off." I said, "Sorry?" She went, "You can't wear a pink bra, that's disgusting. Like, look at you, take your bra off." And I was like, I am not walking around school with no bra on. If you can see my bra through it, then you can see my boobs through it. You know, and we had this big argument, and I think I ended up getting to keep it because I was not going to take it off anyway. I'd rather go home, but I think I knew that it was right. She's not allowed to tell me to take my underwear off. So we had an argument about that one, and that was the same teacher. And there was this maths teacher. He never even taught me. I don't even know how this happened. But I know he had this real problem with me, and he wanted to, like, keep me in school or something, and he slammed the door on the back of my foot. And I think he'd spoken to my dad, and I didn't know, and then he was like, "Oh, do you not speak to your dad?" I was like, well, I mean, luckily, I live with him. You know, if I didn't, that can be really offensive to some people. And in the end, he rang my dad, and he was like, "I don't need your permission to keep your child after school hours." And my dad was like, "You can try it, mate, but I will do you for imprisonment and kidnapping and all this other stuff." So he let me go. But in the end, like, he was so rude that my dad spoke to the head teacher, and he said, "You need to be careful of him, because he's got a bad temper," you know. A week later, he punched my friend in the stomach. So he took my friend's bag and put it in the cupboard. He went into the cupboard and got his bag out and said, "No, it's my bag, I'll leave it under my table." And he turned round and he punched him in the stomach. Obviously he got fired. My dad told him, "Be careful of him." And then there was these 2 teachers that actually, I think, got deported. Now, I dislocated my jaw because of this teacher. Now, we used to call her Scary Mary, because she was really scary. She was big, she was tall, she had these dark rings around her eyes, she was really scary. And her sister. And they were covering us on a sports day. And I had like 3 chewing gums in my mouth. Which I know you're not allowed, okay, but, you know, I was a kid, we all done things we're not allowed. And she said, "Oh, swallow them." I was like, no, I'm not going to swallow them. I said, I'll go put them in the bin. She was like, no. Started screaming at me, and she was like, "No, you swallow them." I was like, "I am not swallowing chewing gum. It's not made to be swallowed." And in the end, she, like, screamed the shit out of me, and I was like crying, and I had to sit there like this, like all cross-legged like this. And literally, and I was chewing, and I had this gum in my mouth that I wanted to get rid of. And I said to her, like, and literally every time I moved, I went like, and she's screaming at me, she was like, don't you move, and I was like this. And then like, I started to get a really achy arm and a really painful jaw, and I was like, tried to move, she was like, don't you move, screamed at me, and I was like, in the end, I got up and I ran. I just ran and ran and ran, and then called my dad when I'd found somewhere quiet. And yeah, and because she wouldn't let me move like this, she actually dislocated my jaw. So although she didn't actually hit me, because I wasn't allowed to move like a single inch, the constant pressure on my jaw pushed it to the side. And now my teeth are out of line because I had to put a gum shield in and stuff, and it was uncomfortable when I kept waking up with it not there, and then it kept clicking and then grinding. And anyway, if you want to hear about that, put it in the comments and I'll try and fit that into one of my other videos. But yeah, so my dad went up to the school and the educational body, went hired my head teacher with information about how dangerous it is to swallow chewing gum and etc etc etc, and they didn't just get fired, I think they actually got deported. So I don't know how, I don't know why they got that, because you know they would have just been fired. So I don't know what hidden stuff was going on for that to happen. But that's 3 teachers down now because of me and my dad. And there was this teacher, and she was, how do I put it? She was like a bit weird. Let's just say she was weird. So she couldn't control anyone, and she was just weird. And a lot of people were like nicer to her, and I know that she hit one of the children with the car by accident, but that went round and everything. And but this time, obviously, as we said earlier, I had cystitis and stuff, so I had to drink loads of water, so it means I had to use the toilet quite a lot. And in our school, the toilets were locked, so before school, after school, lunch and break, they were unlocked. Any other time they were locked, and if you had to go to the office, pick up the key, write your name down so they could see how many times a day you're going and stuff. It was ridiculous. Now this was before school. This was 15-20 minutes before school had started, and I needed a wee. So I went to walk into the toilet, and she stopped me, and she was like, "No, you're not allowed to go for a wee. You know, the bell's about to go." She started screaming at me, and in the end, I can't remember the whole thing, but in the end, I turned around and said, "Fine, I'll wee on the floor. Oh no, I'll pee on the floor and let you clean it up." Now, apparently, for future arguments, apparently it was the "let you clean it up" that was the hurtful, nasty thing. Now, she often rang my mum. In the end, the school took my mum's number off the system and only ever spoke to my dad, because my mum was sick of them. She said 9 times out of 10 she would say to them, how many children have I got? Because I'd just ring her up and be like, Hannah's done this and Hannah's done that, and not actually explain who they were. But she rang my mum up, and I think at this time actually my granddad was in hospital, so it probably was around sort of year 10, year 9, whatever. And my mum went mental at her down the phone. She pulled me out of one of the arguments we had. She pulled me out of my form room. Now this was a new area of the school, so all the walls were like plasterboard. You knock on it and it was hollow, so you could hear through it. And in the argument, she turned around and she said, "I pissed on the floor." Now, I did not say that. I would not swear at a teacher. I said pee. So I went absolutely mental. Everybody heard me. I was when I walked back into my form after, everyone was looking at me, smiling, oh my god. I went mental. Now I know that's disrespectful, teacher, but I did not say that. And I was screaming, saying, "You know that I did not say that." And in the end, nothing happened. Nothing happened. She rang my mum. My mum told her she was an idiot. She tried to tell me that I swore at her, I screamed and shouted at her, and that was the end. She didn't speak to me again, she didn't give me any trouble, any detentions or anything, because it was a point she couldn't tell me I hadn't done anything wrong, so that was the end of that one. That was a little bit random. We just had this massive argument. But so there were a few things. There's probably loads of other things that I've forgotten. Spent a lot of time in isolation, to be fair. It was quite fun. I just generally slept because I didn't have any work to do because the work was going on in the classroom that they'd pulled me out of. So yeah, so by the time I got to year 11, I got a letter. I can't remember what had happened. I think there was this massive ordeal. Something had happened and I really can't remember it. If I can, I will try and fit it into one of my other videos. But something happened and, yes, my sister. So yeah, there was a massive ordeal when something happened and I can't remember what it was. But after that, I got a letter saying, after speaking to the pastoral person and my head teacher, we have come to the conclusion that my continuation in this school is not great, really. I can't remember the word for word, but they're basically saying, I don't think you should continue in this school. Now, the next section said, if all three participants, meaning me, my mum and my dad, don't agree, then I can stay, because they had physically nothing to actually kick me out on. You know, there was a build-up of, like, detentions and arguing back and stuff, but I hadn't actually done anything for them to make me, like, allowed to leave. So they said, oh, but we can get you into that school that you wanted to go to last year. So that was last year. Like, year 11, I'm in the middle of my GCSEs. I was like, I can't move school now. So I said no, and I held out my GCSEs, and I came out with good grades. But that was my school. I tried to leave, and they said no, and then they tried to get me to leave, and it was too late, because if I had gone to the other school, they might have been doing the other half of the, like, curriculum or whatever it's called. And so I would have, like, redone that section, you know, so then I would have failed and stuff. So I just stayed in the same school for the whole 5 years. Still friends with my friends now. We go out for, like, lunches. I mean, two of them have got children now. One is lived in another country for a year, and now she's back at uni, I think. So I mean, there's you know, we're still all friends with them now, and it was great. But the actual time in high school, I can't say was great, and it got in a lot of trouble a lot. and yeah, and I think since I left, actually the head teacher left. This was a new head teacher when I was there anyway, because apparently the old head teacher got caught with like someone half his age or something, which wasn't an issue. They weren't in school or anything. They were still old enough, but apparently he left because you know it got sent round. So this was a new head teacher who actually happened to used to be a bus driver, and she walked in as a head teacher, which is random. But yeah, so and then once I left, she left. Like, not me personally. Like, once my year had left, she decided to leave. And she just, like, walked out. And then the school got put into, like, a watching version, like, from Ofsted. They were like, we're watching you. And then they wanted to change it to an academy or something. And then someone tried to burn the school down by setting all the bins alight. Funny enough, when I was actually there, we got a lockdown. So it was at the end of school as well. We just wanted to go home. But we all got these armed police turned up and everything, and then they had to go. We all had to get, like, into this sports hall, and we had to stay there until they'd sorted it, because apparently one of the students was at the front gate with a gun and a hit list. Now, funny enough, this person was actually my best friend's ex-boyfriend, which was a bit crazy. But yeah, so you know, my school had a lockdown because of firearm. Like, you know, this is how crazy it was. But yeah, so someone set the bins alight after I left. Obviously, all that happened with Ofsted, and the head teacher walked out. And then one of the female teachers got arrested and prosecuted because she had sexual relationship with a female student who was quite young, I think. So the school was completely crazy, and I don't know how it's doing now. I've not had any sort of involvement into knowing if it's gone back up and it's a better school. But it wasn't great. And I don't live in a bad area. Well, I don't think I do anyway. I mean, Essex. I mean, some parts are not great. But I mean, the school was never classed as rough, you know. You'd never really see it in papers, or no one would ever talk about it. But so much happened when I was there that it was just like, this school is crazy. I don't know if it was just me. Maybe if I was a good student, I wouldn't have had to deal with all of this. But yeah, the main thing is I come up with good grades. I done a year in college doing one course, a year in college doing another course. Now I work nothing to do with either of them courses, but I'll tell you about that if you want me to do like a 30 facts or something. So that concludes this story time of my amazing time and stuff in school, and how much of a good child I was, much as my parents still tell me now that I was not. I was troubled. If you like the video and you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button and maybe the notification bell so you can see when my next video comes up. I try to do one a week on each channel. So my other one, there will be the vlogs, which is just general chit chat. You can see me like pre this video and stuff, and then this channel's all testing, story times, and it's just a bit of fun really. So please hit subscribe and the notification bell for both these, and I will see you next week. Bye.